How can I constrain this? Hi. Have you ever faced the problem when you've done a beautiful animation, you use your main controller to do action, or to run, or to walk, and suddenly you realize that you need to move the character in the scene, or you need to constrain it, but you only have one controller? What to do? For example, something like this. You have your walk cycle done and you have your Tom walking here, and as you click here, even though there is some absolutely definitely visual illusion here because you think it's a three controller while it is actually one, we zoom out and we realize that we muted to constrain our character later. So if I unmute, what we have is the action shot as said, Tom walking on a very fast train. You know, it's James Bond, Tom Bond. You get it. What are you gonna do? Like, what if you already done a very nice cycle or very nice any other action shot and realize you only have one controller and you need to constrain it too? Here, I have two Toms. One is walking already, so there will be a case if your character is already far away, and also a case if you smart enough and you think it through. It's exactly the same. I just want to show you how to move the controller to the correct spot. So we go to the curves and surfaces here. It's this shelf. We create ourselves another controller and we make it here. Nice, lovely. Then I press Ctrl D, or you can just create another one right here and scale it up. So what you will have these two controllers. Be nice and rename it main, for example, and sub. That's up to you what you name them. But very important thing is when you create a controller, you always need to freeze them. Freeze transformation. Let me show you where it is. Modify. Freeze. This is reset and freeze. Freeze. We need freeze, not reset. We click here, check if it's translate, rotate, scale, and you can always edit by clicking Shift Control and clicking on the thing. It already have it, so I'm gonna have double. Click on it. There you go. So you froze it. Very important, because if you don't freeze it, it might cause you later problems. So we put sub into the main control. You know, it's basic parenting. You can also use letter P. So we have like this. Oh, but this way is nice, right? It's moving and lovely. So I want to bring it up, middle mouse click on top, just so it's visually a bit more pleasing. So the thing is, you cannot, do not ever put your character inside here, because the moment you will move, I'm gonna pray to every god my mind doesn't crash. This is what happens. Don't. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna use our sub controller, click on the main controller of the character, and constraint. So what happens is this. We have a sub-controller now and a main controller now. So case number 2. What if you have your character not on 0, which is lovely, and you just need to scale, but you have it somewhere far away in the scene, or like, oh my god, how am I going to get the controller there? Same method, we're creating another controller and it's far away. So number 1, easiest way, if you are a lucky person who has animbot like me, you can just click this button and it aligns and it's beautiful and you just scale. So you don't have animbot, like what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to align it, right? Very easily, because this controller, and in most cases, whatever controller you're going to use, already has these numbers. So what you can do, you can copy that number, paste it here. Then you can go and copy this number and paste it here. As you can see, it's slowly aligning to exactly where it should be. There you go. We aligned it exactly at the point where our controller is somewhere in a world space of Maya. We do the same. We scale it up. And then, before we freeze it, let me just double it, because we are too lazy to drag another one. So easy, Control D, duplicate, select both of them, and I freeze them. There you go. We have the controllers 1 and 2 done. Same stuff. We would like to constrain this guy, but if I constrain it how I did before, I'm gonna lose my animation, right? We don't want that. So what you're gonna do instead, you're gonna do something that's called reparenting. And there is a whole script for it, which I'm planning to talk about later on in other videos, how I use it and how it's very useful. But this is a manual reparenting. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna use this controller and you're gonna constrain it, constrain the subcontroller to your main controller. So what happens is that your subcontroller right now is parented to the controller that has animation. Let me show you. So this controller is now controlling this guy. And you'd say, yeah, that's just like, what? No, why? Because we need to preserve the information. We need to preserve the information of our controller on the character, the original one, to our created controller, to the subcontroller. So how do we do this? By a beautiful thing called baking. So first of all, it's under animation here. So if you have something else open, you're not going to find it. And then you go to the key section and you find something called bake simulation. So pretty much you leave everything like it is. You can take a look at how mine looks like. There's like a lot of ticks. I never tick this one. Don't know what that one is. And smart bake. This one, please turn it on because otherwise it will bake every key and you don't need that. Apply. So when we apply, what happens is that our constraint is gone, and this has exactly the same animation as this now. It is exactly the same. They move together, but without a constraint. Look, this guy does not have a constraint anymore. So what you can do now you can use the subcontroller and constrain it to this controller. Nothing really happened different, but what happened different is that you have this controller now, this controller now to move your entire character. So this technique called reparenting, very useful if you need to fix some layout problem, like you place it in some other place and you need to move the whole thing, but you want to preserve your animation. It's honestly one of the best things you can do. So let's go back. What do we have now? We have this main controller that's absolutely free. You can do anything you want to it. So we can select our train and we can click on the main controller and we can parent it. And now our Thomas, from having so much issues by only having one controller, we're not being able to constrain, right? Now we have a proper setup that can move and it will preserve your animation. So what I just demonstrated is called reparenting, and it's based on knowledge of constraints and baking. Constraints are probably the most valuable thing you can learn as an animator because it will open so many doors of how to do different animations. And I have these beautiful charts that I've done for the constraints, explaining how different constraints work and how do you constrain. You can find them on my LinkedIn as separate posts. I'll put the link down below where to find me. Please feel free to connect. I want to tease you what I want to show you how to do in my next video is how to hide the mesh like this. Not all rigs have this option available when you can hide certain limbs. So for example, if you really love the rig, but you are used to or you want to try to animate just like limb by limb, pelvis separate, or maybe like a headless because like head is too big and you need to focus on the body animation, I want to show you how to pretty much hide mesh in any rig. At least I did not find yet a rig that this method did not work. So in my next video I want to show you how to hide meshes for any rig you can possibly find online. So this concludes today's video. I hope you found it useful and stay healthy.